Welcome to the first episode of The Wealth Effect. It's only fitting that the first episode is an introduction to your host, Green Moon. I chose the name Green Moon back when I was 12, back when I was playing Xbox, and I liked it so much that I just kept it, and I still use it today for a lot of my things. I was raised by a single mother on the south side of Chicago in back of the yards. I was pretty aware of my financial situation growing up, especially seeing my mom working hard as a clean lady and lost her house at a young age. I would have occasionally helped my mom in the summers and winter when school was out. I would pick up garbage and wash windows, but I wasn't very good at washing the windows, so I mainly picked up garbage. Working this job really strengthened my desire to change our lives at a young age. Even though I didn't know how I was going to do it, I believed in myself and I had hope that I can help our family get out of this type of situation. And I had so much hope that I think people thought I was so foolish and gullible. They would they would laugh when I would tell them about my dreams and my goals. And I would laugh at myself too because I take myself very lightly, but I do believe in myself. I dream of helping people in the same situation that I was, unseen by the world. And at a young age, I told myself I would become one of the wealthiest people in the world, not to spend the money on myself, but to help kids believe in their dreams. I always had a business mindset. And when I was little, around like 7, 8, or 9, I would go around during family parties selling little gum packets to everyone for like a quarter. Then eventually I started selling candy in high school, and in college I started repairing phones with mild success. But the real start of my wealth journey began when I was about 18 and a freshman at the University of Illinois at Chicago, which is UIC, and not University of Chicago, which is U of Chicago. I wasn't that smart. At UIC, I started to learn about accounting, finance, and economics. And I was so interested in the classes and the topics they talked about that I graduated cum laude with honors without even struggling in my classes. They were more of a support building my financial literacy, understanding the concepts and topics about investments, financial reporting, and taxes. Because what actually made me my first million was while I was playing a video game on my $700 laptop from like 2015, 2016, which I still have today, but I don't use anymore because it's so outdated. It was while I was playing a video game, a multiplayer video game, that someone made a joke about Bitcoin. And that single word caught my attention, that I started to do research right after. And that initiative, that jump to see what that was, really changed my life. From that moment, I started to research as much as I could, listening to videos, podcasts, articles online, or understanding the concepts around digital assets. That once I started to get a good base knowledge on it, that I knew that this type of asset class was for me. Over the course of the next 4 years, I started to invest every little amount of money that I had that I didn't need to spend on like clothing or anything like that. I spent about, not spent, I invested around $30,000 over the course of 4 years. And that money came from like internships, small jobs that I had, or any other way I could get money. I constantly monitored my investment, trying to improve my position either by doing more research or looking at other tokens or digital assets that were coming up into the market. Then after a few years, I was able to start planning out on an Excel sheet when exactly I expected my net worth to cross the $1 million mark. And when it crossed the $1 million mark, I just sat at my desk thinking, wow, it was almost 4 years of constant restlessness, solitude, and just a lot of hard work in terms of research that it finally paid off after so long. Even though there were times when I doubted it, and I had obviously my doubts on the investments, but I still had the confidence to research more and build up that basis that would lower my risk the more you know, on the basis that the more I know, the less riskier the asset. But I enjoyed the time, even though it was pretty stressful. I think it felt really exciting for me to dive deep into these digital assets. So it was also a rough few years because I was taking about 23 credit hours a semester. So some days out of the week, I would be in class from like 8 a.m. to like 8 p.m. with small breaks in between. And when I would get home around like 9:30, I would do some homework when I get home. And most of my free time was spent researching more about the variety of digital assets I saw online. Though during this time, it worsened my insomnia. So because I started sleeping really late, around like 1, 2 in the morning, a few days out of the week. And I would get up around like 6:37 to be ready to get ready to go to school. And there were nights where I would just fall asleep in my chair and then wake up and either try to finish up what I was doing before I fell asleep. And I was definitely not all there. So it really had a big impact on my health. And I try to catch up on my sleep whenever I could to try not to really felt to not feel like disoriented all the time. And since the digital assets market is a 24-hour market, I think I also led to my worsening of anxiety because I was constantly checking the markets, always trying to look at news every single moment when I woke up or anything going around the world. That also really impacted my health. Even though my net worth was $1 million after graduation, I worked full time for one of the top accounting firms in the world that I had previously interned 3 summers for. And I worked there full time for about 2.5 years because I wanted to learn more about tax returns, financial reporting, and the preparation of everything. And also the corporate lifestyle, which I had never really seen other than in my internship. So I wanted to know what it was like and how people in these jobs really are when they are working with others. I also talked to a few of my coworkers about their goals and ambitions, and I think there I started to realize that my goals seem very out there and very hopeful and unique because most of them just wanted to work there, build a 401k or build up to partner, and that's it. They just wanted that in their lives and didn't would dream of doing more with their lives in terms of helping others or accomplishing something much grander, which is fine. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But for me, that wasn't what I wanted in my life. And I think that really showed how growing up on the south side of Chicago really sets your ambition way beyond most people that lived in a better area like suburbs or the downtown Chicago. And even though I had a nice corporate job with a high net worth, my lifestyle did not change at all. I didn't buy any luxury goods. I don't think I even have any like luxury clothing or accessories. I drive a normal car. Nothing really changed about me. And the only few things that I do spend money on are like my computer or a Herman Miller chair that I use daily. But other than that, I don't see another, I don't see a better way to spend my money than to invest it. And to give you an idea of like the type of person that I am, I don't even have a savings account because I'd rather risk my money than have it sitting there in a savings account, almost accumulating no interest, which I don't recommend for anyone. But that risk really attracts me, and that's the type of risk that I enjoy taking because I have confidence in my ability and my knowledge to perform it with the extra money that I have. And then going off of seeing the difference in lifestyles, I think growing up poor, after living in, I would say, like the ghetto for a few years, it really drains you. It really starts to chip away at your hope and your dreams. And I think that's what the community really needs to hammer in to kids, that they need their hope to be strengthened rather than diminished over time. I'm pretty sure most people would think I'm crazy that I only have hope in my dreams because I accomplished such a grand goal that some people would only dream of ever accomplishing in their life. But I don't consider myself rich or wealthy, mainly because I'm still at the beginning stages of my wealth journey. I grew up in a rough area, so that really keeps me grounded in the sense of I know the value of money and also the hard work over those long 4 years. And a few of those days were awful. There was times early on where I would lose anywhere from like 20 to 30% of my investment in a few days. And though it wasn't much at the time, just a few thousand, it really felt like the world was crushing on me because it was so little money that I had, and I had to make as much as I can with that money because there wasn't much more coming in, and I didn't have a full-time job at the time. So I had to work with what I had, and losing even small bits, small amounts of money really did hit me. But I think it was all worth the risk. Throughout the time, I started realizing, oh, okay, like there's these big losses, but over time, the value is still going up. The most I made in a week was around like $100,000 from an investment. And I felt that was crazy. Like making more in a week than my mom would ever make in a few years. And that was crazy. But also knowing that there was really rough times where in a few days I would lose like 80,000, and that's rough. That feels awful. Where same idea, you lost someone's whole yearly salary in a few days. Eh, it's not a good feeling. I still enjoy those type of investments, especially because they're digital assets. I want this podcast to be lighthearted, funny, but educational. It'll draw inspiration from Tosh Show, which is another podcast that's more comedy based, but I wanted to take that aspect into financial conversation and maybe even put a border up, just as Taj said it would be in trend. I want to hear other story and share my own story and experiences from anything financial to going through life, whether it be growing up to managing your money to managing like your family and how you deal with that when you have enough money. So stick around and you'll not only learn more about me, but also others. Enjoy the show.